Certainly, he himself and his family are among the largest landowners in the country. But he's a beneficiary of something that happened before he came onto the stage. One would have expected that he would, given that kind of history, avail himself of the opportunity to be part of the solution to the problem. The land issues in this country go back to very early on, 1903. We know between the year 1903, 1939, through a variety of ordinances, all the way in London, land was acquired, was alienated, especially from the people of central Kenya, the people of Rift Valley. And when Mheshimiwa is here, Mheshimiwa, you must be like J.M. Kariuki. You must take this bull by the horns. When we talk about the suffering and the land issue in this country, the people who bear the brunt of this land issue are the people of Kirinyaga, they are the people of Nyandarua, and others from central Kenya who are displaced from their land, the ancestral land, between 1903 through the acts of Charles Elliot, whom you remember very well, all the way to 1939. We see Harry Thuku, we see Jesse Kariuki, we see James Buta and others engaging in and trying, in fact, sending Jomo Kenyatta to England to go and plead the land issues. The irony of history is that in the fullness of time, Jomo Kenyatta then becomes part of the land problem in the country, where he had been sent to England. He stayed there for decades and came back without a solution, came back, became part of the problem, and the land in this country is in the hands of a few families. It is a great shame, it's a scandal that the National Land Commission and the ministry can go to State House and then they hem and how and circumnavigate the issues and tell us things that don't make sense, that oh, so much land is in community hands, so much land is with the churches, so much land is with universities. That is not what we are paying them to do.
Yes.
And they think that's what they want to do. Then I'm very sorry for this country.
Now, incidentally, Bwana Njogu Barua is wearing a different hat today, okay, if I would say an additional one, because you're now part of the president's re-election campaign team as a coordinator for Kirinyaga County. And looking at this matter of land, surely it's going to come up in the campaigns. And how do you expect to handle this when such a summit at State House is just dismissed as a PR gimmick and nothing more than that?
First and foremost, I would like to say that the meeting at State House is not a PR gimmick. It's a meeting that actually achieve some results, but at the same time
we must sympathize with this gentleman.
Yeah, that's fine, I'm coming there. I don't sympathize, I'm okay.
We must
wait a minute,
Barack.
It's my chance now. But unfortunately, some of the issues were not discussed, as the other panelists are saying. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity for the other issue to be discussed. You cannot, Rome was not built in a day. So the issue of who owns what will be discussed. I can assure you there's nothing the Jubilee government is hiding. But that not being said, having been said, I said I don't own land in Kenya, and I'm a mature Kenyans of age. I didn't say my father doesn't have land. My father has actually had 9 acres of land. So when you talk about Uhuru Kenyatta owns land, I think that's a misrepresentation, because there's a difference between Uhuru Kenyatta and Jomo Kenyatta. If Jomo Kenyatta owned huge tracts of land, that's a different thing. So I don't think it's fair for us to sit here.
Are you listening to yourself?
Just a minute. We cannot be here. No, wait a minute. We cannot be here.
Professor, are you listening to yourself?
Okay, fine. Let me finish it. I can listen to you. Listen to me now, because I'm not here to listen to myself. We cannot sit here and say now Uhuru Kenyatta is part of the problem, because he's just born in a family, like you are born in a family as well. So these things should just be discussed as openly as possible. That should be advocating for, without being having a.
Do you think State House provides a platform conducive enough for such a discussion?
State House provides an environment, but maybe not necessarily the best. If people think that you can have it in Bomas of Kenya, so be it.
You know,
but
actually,
just a minute, Fred. I mean, but if Kenyans feel that you should go to Bomas of Kenya, they are free to make that proposition, and we can actually go there. There's nothing we're hiding about it.
You know, Fred,
as we wrap up,
I think finally I want to say this, that when you say that, just a minute, when you say that President could have been there, I think to me is a double speak, because when the president is there, people complain. When he's not there, people complain. When he's out in Europe representing Kenya, people complain. When he's in Kenya, people complain. What do you? The president must follow his diary.
Yes. No, I think for land, and we should be doing this debate to help Kenyans, not just to help CORD and Jubilee. For land, we should stop brick walling, even as leaders. All of us here, you should stop brick walling and look for solutions to this problem. Because it can't be a campaign issue every now and then. At least somewhere at some point in time, we must decide as a people that we need to sort these issues out. His county is one of the examples. Everyone lives in Trans Nzoia. Everybody. Luo, Luhya, Kamba, Kalenjin. Everyone lives in Trans Nzoia. Right?
My people are squatters.
Did you hear what he said?
They have not been given
because we have not systematically decided that land is a problem that we should handle. Yeah. So I think we need to finally handle this. On State House summits, by the way, the time I was invited as a Secretary General of Young MPs Association, and I couldn't go there because it's generally a hostile environment for those kind of debates. It's that simple. If the president wants to have a sober and open debate, it has to be on an neutral ground.
Get it out of
I think it's the highest time when it comes to matters of the land. I think last time in Parliament we had a miscellaneous amendment bill, and I think a lot of the powers that we expected the National Land Commission to handle were actually given to the executive. And because the emotive nature of the land matter, we should amend the law so that we can be able to strengthen the National Land Commission. This is an independent commission that maybe Kenyans have trust in. But the moment you leave it in the hands of the executive, many Kenyans, the way we are seeing things, they don't have that trust. So I think it's the highest time we should amend the law and give the National Land Commission strengthen its mandate so that it can be able to handle the matter of land objectively without any fear or favor.
Before you go away, I think it would be remiss not to put this in context. You know, in 1904 there was signed something called the Maasai Agreement. In 1911 there was something further called the Second Maasai Agreement. And these were agreements that alienated huge tracts of community land and gave them to European settlers on 99-year leases. Those leases have since...
That was 1,000.
No, they were 1,000 afterwards. They were actually 999 years. Subsequently, they were varied to 99 years. And those leases have since lapsed. The first one lapsed in the year 2004. The second one lapsed in the year 2011. That land should be returned to the Maasai people of this country, who are also some of the community landowners that somebody was vaguely prevaricating around yesterday. That when you look at land in central Kenya, there was at the dawn of independence what was called the million-acre land issue. And the British provided funds for resettlement of people who had been separated from their land in central Kenya. That money went to the political elite that surrounded the leader in the first government, and that political elite comprised of home guard families. You can look at the names of who was who in that government, in provincial administration, and they read like the sons and daughters of colonial chiefs. And the people who should have been restored to that land found themselves in what we may want to call the Gikuyu diaspora within Kenya. And we kind of floss around issues and gloss over issues. We don't want to tackle issues, but one of these days these issues must be discussed.
Of course, another thing that came out from yesterday's State House Summit on Land was that the judiciary was accused of actually delaying a lot of matters in terms of adjudicating on land matters. And the headline on the Standard is "Cry of Kenyans as Cases Run for Ages." And since 1971, when Sir James Wicks was Chief Justice, up to today when David Maraga is Chief Justice, those are 12 gentlemen heading the highest courts of the land, there are quite a number of cases, some spanning 4 decades old, involving some senior government officials like Charles Njonjo, Njenga Karume, Mbiu Koinange, that have never been resolved. Now, these are matters that will continue being discussed. Of course, yesterday the discussion just started, and what we can say is, even if the State House Summit did not provide the best environment to discuss this matter, of course they started the discussion, and it will